All right, ladies and gentlemen, New York, New York, welcome down here to Bowling Green. Welcome down to the plaza. Welcome to the city that started it all and without whom the world does not listen. My name is Andrij Dobriansky. It is my pleasure to once again return here, as I have been doing for many years on end, but especially as a native New Yorker, to welcome all of our distinguished guests, our guests who are here just to sit and watch with us and support us during this momentous day. Today we are gathered on August 21st, 2 days before the day of the state flag of Ukraine on August 23rd, and of course, the independence of Ukraine, which is the 24th. This will be Sunday. Of course, many of us will be in our houses of worship over the weekend praying for Ukraine, but here we are gathered as one to celebrate what's really happening. And we have seen some incredible events happen over the last week. We have seen some incredible events of bravery happen over the last several years, but more especially, we have seen a lot of sadness in our lives. For those of you who, like me, have been to Ukraine numerous times, for those of you who were there when the full-fledged invasion began in 2022, or when you were there when the war began in 2014, you know of the personal stories of loss. And of course, first and foremost in our minds are the innocents who have been targeted even this week, even last night, in one of the biggest attacks in the last 5 days. Many innocent children, women, older people, injured or killed with bombing attacks on Ukraine, and even an American company, Flextronics, based as far away from the front line as possible. Their warehouse was targeted last night and blew up in the city of Mukachu, or Mukachevo for some of our older immigrants. We stand here because we want all of those people to know that we know about them. We see the flags and we show them the flags that we know about you, Ukraine. And we stand here today, this weekend, and every day, standing in solidarity with Ukraine. I do not want to spend any more time taking up your time speaking, so I'm going to introduce one of my closest friends since the war began, especially in 2022, the man without whom this wonderful event could not happen every time, every year, as well as the person who has been responsible for lifting the flag here in Bowling Green since the invasion in 2022 every February. And of course, I'm speaking of my friend Arthur Piccolo, chairman of the Bowling Green Association. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Arthur.
Thank you all for joining us on behalf of myself and also Ibrahim Katoulis, vice chairman of the Bowling Green Association. You know, this is a great turnout, but unfortunately I know the war is not over, the invasion is not over, because when we come to Bowling Green to celebrate the end of the invasion and the rebirth of Ukraine, this entire plaza and all up and down Broadway will be filled for that celebration, which we all look forward to. And you know, the perfect timing for that will be next year, because next year is also the 250th anniversary of American independence, and it will be a great year to celebrate the full independence of Ukraine. Today, as we honor the Ukraine's 34 years of independence, we also face the hard truth of its struggle for survival. Vladimir Putin does not seek peace, he seeks to erase Ukraine. And yet, instead of strengthening the Western alliance that has defended freedom for 8 decades, President Trump has chosen vanity over vision, ego over solidarity. No American president has ever been so blunt, so blind to the essence of this war. Ukraine does not need flattery or empty theater. Ukraine needs steadfast allies who understand that Putin's war is not a deal to be made, but a crime to be resisted. The truth lies not in Trump's fantasies, but in the trenches of Donbass, in the abdication of children, in the deaths of soldiers and civilians killed by Russian drones. Ukraine's freedom is the freedom of democracy itself. On this Independence Day, let us affirm here at Bowling Green and everywhere, America's destiny is bound to Ukraine's. Putin must be stopped, not with hollow words, but with strength, unity, and the unshakable promise that Ukraine's future is with the free world. And whether we call it NATO membership for Ukraine, which I have spoken up for repeatedly at Bowling Green, or we call it something else, security for Ukraine is essential to end this invasion. And it is not up to Putin to decide if he will agree for security for Ukraine, or even if Trump agrees it is up to Putin. It is not up to this war criminal and mass murderer ever to decide NATO membership for Ukraine today, not tomorrow. I have a presentation. The Bowling Green Association established an award a number of years ago. It's called the New York City Hero Award. And it's meant to honor those who are heroes, but we don't always think of them as heroes. We've given it out occasionally, and normally it's given out to a specific individual. But for the first time now, I would like the honor on behalf of the Bowling Green Association to make this presentation to the entire Ukrainian community and the Acting Consul General to please accept this award to hopefully be displayed in the consulate. I will give the reading. A New York City hero. New York City, as our nation's largest city, creates many heroes all the time. Many are unsung heroes from every part of our city and from every ethnic and racial group. We have so many ever since 1613 and the arrival of Juan Rodriguez, our city's very first immigrant, at the southern tip of Manhattan Island, which is today's Bowling Green. We have the honor and opportunity to recognize some of our heroes each year. Today, we honor one entire community that has made a difference and a better city and a nation for all of us. Today, on the occasion of the raising of the Ukrainian flag high over New York City, here at Bowling Green, we honor on this day, August 21st, 2025, a New York City hero, New York City's Ukrainian community. Thank you. Acting Council.
Thank you very much. Again, you always come with the best gifts, Arthur. I don't know how you do it. You're always we're doing these multiple times a year. We're not only organizing the flag raising, but it's always something special. Every occasion has been special down here. And speaking of special, I'd like to introduce somebody from the organization Razom. Many of you not only have participated in actions that they've organized, but have donated online as one of the premier organizations that have been supplying aid since the beginning of the full-fledged invasion of the war. You've also seen their billboards and ads all over the city, as well as Washington and across the country, trying to get the word out about Ukraine. So with that, I'd like to ask to the podium Ms. Olya Yarychkivska to speak on behalf of Razom.
Thank you so much for your kind introduction, Andrii. I'm honored to be here today. I'm the co-founder and the co-chair of the board of Razom. We started in New York City more than 11 years ago, and we are deeply grateful to New York for all the support for Ukraine. We have big projects in Ukraine delivering medical aid, humanitarian aid, as Andrii mentioned. And today I just want to tell you that it's very important to have a great collaboration between New York, USA, and Ukraine. And we are really grateful to all the New Yorkers for this collaboration. We work with a number of excellent New York-based doctors who participate in our medical co-pilot project. They travel to Ukraine, they do medical trips to Ukraine, and they have a profound experience there. They change lives profoundly with what they do there, with the complex surgeries they perform. And in return, they also bring back doctors here to New York and to the US to provide training to Ukrainian doctors. This comes like a full circle of this collaboration. Recently, we brought a young Ukrainian doctor from Zaporizhia, one of the frontline cities, and she brought back to the US this modified protocol that she developed using the handheld ultrasound devices. And we hope that by bringing this back to the US medical community, this can be used for relief and in different disaster situations in the US. So we really hope to strengthen more of these relationships, more of these collaborations, more of the projects between New York City and Ukraine, between USA and Ukraine, because by bringing the best from both countries, we can really better both of our societies. And with that, I would just really like to invite all of the New Yorkers who are present here to please come visit Ukraine, see it for yourself, be inspired by the resilience, by the innovation, and we would really welcome you there. Let's stay together, and Slava Ukraini. Thank you.
Thank you, Olya. Of course, we're very excited to start this weekend off as we normally do here at Bowling Green. There are going to be many events. I mentioned the church services all day on Sunday. I know there are some special events happening in different houses of worship over the weekend. We also have an enormous number of events throughout the city, whether you're in Brooklyn, Queens, or the Bronx. We have charity runs happening, all in the name of Ukraine, but also, as Olya very kindly pointed out to us, reminding people what is actually happening in Ukraine. And with that in mind, I would like to take a moment, and if all of us could take a moment, to understand and recognize the loss that many of us in our personal family, in our friendships, have dealt with in Ukraine. If I could ask all those who can stand right now and honor a moment of silence for those who have given their lives willingly in the war and all those innocent lives that have been taken by this horrible, unnecessary war. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Assembled behind me are some wonderful speakers, many of whom we've had speaking here before. I would like to invite first to speak, however, a representative from the office of the Congressman, Mike Lawler. He represents New York's 17th District. He's been pivotal in achieving successes in Congress to get aid to Ukraine, and also speaking forcefully on reminding people why it is that we have been doing what we've done morally to stand up for what's happening against Ukraine right now. Please welcome Rafi Silberberg from the office of Congressman Mike Lawler.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my honor to be here today on behalf of Congressman Mike Lawler as we gather to mark Ukraine's Independence Day and to raise the American and Ukrainian flags. This day reminds us of the strength, the resilience, and the unity of the Ukrainian people. As a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressman Lawler remains committed to supporting Ukraine and standing with those who believe in freedom, democracy, and the right of every nation to live in peace and security. I would like to thank Vadim and the Ukrainian Consulate for their leadership and for helping bring us together today for this important moment. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of today's ceremony.
I've been on stage with my next speaker, whether it's in his home district, at fundraisers, at concerts, or even simply standing on the street, and again, reminding people why we stand as Americans for what's right, not just for what's easy. Please welcome Assemblyman Michael Novakhov from New York State's Assembly for the 45th District.
Thank you for bringing this heart, because our heart goes to Ukraine, heart of New Yorkers goes to Ukraine, and heart of Americans goes to Ukraine. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, those brave officers, for fighting for their country. I know it's your duty. A few weeks ago, I've met with a few Ukrainian officers who came here to make the prosthetic leg, and it is just being paid for by people like you. So thank you so much for helping Ukrainian officers to get on their feet, literally. It is a privilege to be here today with my fellow New Yorkers, honored guests, and members of our vibrant Ukrainian American community. Thank you to the Consul of Ukraine, Vadim Tkachuk, for his leadership and friendship, and for inviting me here today. I also want to recognize the new Ukrainian ambassador to the UN, Andrii Melnyk. And thank you to Congressman Michael Lawler for sending a representative. Thank you to Mayor Eric Adams and Commissioner Aissata Camara of the Mayor's Office of International Affairs. I am proud to represent the largest and still growing contingent of Ukrainians in New York State. Today, we join Ukrainian friends and neighbors to mark a profoundly important day, the 34th anniversary of Ukraine's declaration of independence from the Soviet Union. This day is a testament to courage, resilience, and unwavering spirit of the Ukrainian people. Here we proudly raise Ukrainian's national flag, a blue and yellow banner symbolizing hope, freedom, and the enduring bonds between New York and Ukraine. In doing so, we reaffirm our unity, shared values, and our firm commitment to solidarity in the face of tyranny. Just this morning, there was a massive Russian airstrike which hit a US-owned electronics factory in Ukraine while approximately 800 civilians were working there. Though this factory is located hundreds of miles away from the front line, it was blown up by the 2 Russian Caliber cruise missiles hit around 4:30 a.m., according to Ukrainian officials. This is outrageous. This is outrageous. The factory was not involved in the war, and yet 800 civilians were targeted with hundreds of drones and missiles by Russia in order to damage critical energy infrastructure in Ukraine. This act cannot stand. It must be addressed and forcefully condemned. In my capacity as an elected state official, I pledge to continue working with our partners and allies to fight this tyranny until we see a peaceful and free future for Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!
I'd also like to thank not just those in military service, but also like to thank there's many diplomats with us here today, so many of us who aren't speaking. So the fact that you have gathered here in solidarity is very welcome. We appreciate you. We see you either speaking at the United Nations or different New York City events, and this means so much, not just to the people far away in Ukraine, but to hear us here in New York City. We recognize that and we appreciate that so much. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Oleksandr Taran, from the organization Svitanok. He has been on the streets, as you know, as you have heard his voice with or without a megaphone. You may have been walking through Times Square, you may have been walking through Bowling Green, or you may be joining his march on Sunday, which he can tell you a little bit more about. Please put your hands together for Oleksandr Taran.
Dear friends, respected officials, diplomats, my fellow Ukrainians, first and foremost, it is my honor to present today the Ukrainian flag that was gifted to New York City by the Ukrainians of New York. It is our honor to do so. Today, as we raise the blue and yellow flag over the Bowling Green, we celebrate more than a holiday. We celebrate independence. For Ukrainians, this word is sacred. It was never handed to us. It was fought for again and again through centuries of struggle, through exile and resistance, for the blood of those who refused to kneel. Independence is not a concept. It is the right to exist and the duty to defend the existence. This flag raising in New York declares that Ukraine fights. Ukraine still bleeds, but Ukraine still stands. Here across the ocean, the diaspora stands as well. We're not only heirs to a proud legacy built by those who came before us, the churches, the schools, the monuments, the cultural centers that carried Ukraine through the darkest times. We honor that foundation, and upon it, we have built something new. In this moment of history, the diaspora has found its strength again. We are organized, disciplined, determined, and we are the proof that the Ukrainian voice in America is not fading, but rising. We, Ukrainians in the United States, welcome America's diplomatic efforts to put an end to this war. We understand the desire for peace, but peace must be worthy of the sacrifice. It must rest on strong security guarantees. It must carry the justice as its core so that the blood of our brothers and sisters was not spilled into emptiness, but into the soil of the brighter future of Ukraine. For the sake of our children and the generations yet to come, we demand that peace is fair, that it is lasting, and that it ensures that Ukraine's survival as a free nation. To our American friends, to city officials, and to our allies here today, we are profoundly grateful. Your support has not been just symbolic. It has been life-saving for many of us. It has given strength to millions, and it has reminded the world that freedom is defended together and not alone. And so that let this flag flying over Manhattan today, which will fly shortly, speak with one voice. Ukraine will never bow, Ukraine will not break, and Ukraine will prevail. And we as the diaspora will see to it, because we're not just guests of history, we're its authors. We're not the dusk of the fading nation. We are the dawn of its victory. Slava Ukraini! Slava nacії! Україна! Thank you.
Thank you very much. One of the things that is constantly in the mind is something that we heard in the Oval Office earlier this week, something that hasn't been mentioned a lot outside of the political circles. And that is the fact that when we're talking about why we must stand with Ukraine and why we pray for peace, is we're praying for a just peace. And a big part of a just peace are the 20,000 children that Ukraine has asked specifically by name to be returned following their kidnapping into the Russian Federation. A list of 339 names was presented not 8 weeks ago at a diplomatic session called for by world leaders in Istanbul. To this day, the Russian Federation has not even mentioned anything about that request being made. I bring up these crimes of children being stolen, crimes personal to my heart, as I know family members who lived through the same thing in 1939 through 1944. Crimes that were prosecuted at the 8th Nuremberg trial specifically for the stealing of children and given to their Nazi overlords to be adopted. Again, something in my personal family I can attest to. For this reason, I bring this up because our next speaker specifically concentrates on what has happened to those children. She is not only an honored artist of Ukraine, and you will hear her voice, but she is also an ambassador of the city of Kharkiv. Wherever she goes, she tells the story of what she witnessed in Kharkiv and what she witnessed with her children in Kharkiv and what the children of Kharkiv have asked her to send to the rest of the world. With that, I ask you your applause for our next singer, honored artist of Ukraine, Viktoria Vennikova.
Дивлюсь увись, пливуть зірки небесним шляхом. Дивлюсь униз, до річки горниться вода. Де б не літала вільна птаха, а повертає до гнізда. Де б не літала вільна птаха, а повертає до гнізда. Є своя батьківщина у кожної птиці, серце кожній людині зігріває вона. Українці мої, дорогі українці, де би ми не жили, Україна Квіте завжди у нас калина там, де хата, добром завжди квіте українська в нас душа. Хай то в Канаді чи у Штатах, душа свій рід не залиша. Хай то в Канаді чи у Штатах, душа свій рід не залиша. Є своя батьківщина у кожної птиці, в серці кожній людині зігріває вона. Українці мої, дорогі українці, де би ми не жили, Україна одна. Дивлюсь увись, пливуть зірки в небеснім шляхі, дивлюсь униз, до річки горниться вода. Де б не літала вільна птаха, а повертає до гнізда. Де б не літала вільна птаха, а повертає до гнізда. Є своя батьківщина у кожної птиці, серце кожній людині зігріває вона. Українці мої, дорогі українці, де би ми не жили, Україна одна. Є своя батьківщина у кожної птиці, серце кожній людині зігріває вона. Українці мої, дорогі українці, де би ми не жили, Україна одна. Де би ми не жили, Україна одна. Де би ми не жили, Україна одна.
Слава Україні! І саме сьогодні, у 34-й День Незалежності, я хочу, щоб у центрі Манхеттена звучали українські пісні. Співаємо разом!
Біля млину калина, біля ставу верба, біля тину дівчина, біля серця журба. А калина чарівна, і вночі не заснеш. Та дівчина царівна, що чекає тебе. А верба над край водою, наша пісня, наша доля. Хай завжди мене верба, та й додому поверта. Хай завжди мене верба, та й додому поверта. І наступну знають точно всі. Співаємо разом! Ти признайся мені, звідки в тебе ті чари? Я без тебе всі дні в полоні печалі. Може, десь у лісах я чар зілля шукала, сонця руту знайшла і тебе щарувала. Червону руту не шукай вечорами, ти у мене єдиний, тільки ти повір, бо твоя врода то є чистая вода, то є бистрая вода, синій гір. Супер, і наступну! Був зорепад і зелен сад, і ми були у парі. У тім саду без тебе йду, коли горять стожари. Гей, ви стожари, мені насняться ваші чари, так хочу зустріти кохання наяву. Так що ж, стожари, ви знов заходите за хмари, коли я з вами і мрію, і живу, і живу. Українці, ручки вгору! Гей! Співаємо разом! Тече вода, тече бистра, та куди не знає, поміж гори світ широкий, тече не вертає. І ой, вода, вода, грай, грай для нас грай, танок свій жвавий ти не зупиняй, за красну пісню на всі голоси, що хочеш, воду грай і попроси. Струни дає тобі кожна весна, дзвінки дарує їй осінь ясна, а ми зіграєм на струнах отих, хай розділють вони радісний сміх. Ой, вода, вода, грай, грай для нас грай, танок свій жвавий ти не зупиняй, за красну пісню на всі голоси, що хочеш, воду грай і попроси. Струни дає тобі кожна весна, дзвінки дарує їй осінь ясна, а ми зіграєм на струнах отих, хай розділють вони радісний сміх. Молодці, дякую!
I mean, I have a voice, but I'm not going to sing right now. Дякуємо. Дуже дякуємо, пані Вероніко. This is Victoria. This is amazing every year when we come together, because just as we just heard incredible singing voice of Ukraine, the singing voice of Ukraine comes out everywhere. I know some of my dear friends born and raised in New York City who served overseas in the American Armed Forces were surprised to see that the words, the rockets' red glare, meant something when they were deployed overseas. And of course, for Ukrainians, the words "Dushu i тіло ми положим" took on a different meaning when we say we laid our soul and body down. When in 2013 and 2014, young activists literally laid down on a freezing concrete sidewalk as water was being poured on them to block tanks and military vehicles against the Maidan. Song really unites us, and I'm really glad that we had that wonderful moment. I also have a wonderful friend with me that I've been doing this for many years here down in Bowling Green at many other events, and I'd like to invite him, if he has time, to just say a couple of words. Former Commissioner Edward Mermelstein.
have an easy job today. First of all, it's a great honor to be here. Once again, Arthur and Ibrahim, thank you for doing this every year and multiple times a year. I want to acknowledge the biggest diplomatic community in the world that's sitting in front of me. I have friends from the United Nations, all of our PRs and DPRs that are here, our consuls general, our councils that are here. For me, it's been a great honor to be here for almost 4 years. And I can't say enough about how wonderful of a job this is, how wonderful of a city this is. And I don't know of any other city that reflects what's in front of me right here. No other city stands with Ukraine the way New York does. So I did this part of the job. The other part is the elected officials that are here. Thank you. Thank you for supporting this very important event. Most importantly, thank you to the soldiers that protect the just cause. Thank you to our ladies and gentlemen in blue that protect us here in New York City. There's a reason why this is the safest large city in America, and it's because of you. Thank you all. And I have a great honor of thanking for the first time the new Commissioner for International Affairs, Aissata Camara, who took over this job, but not only did she take over this job, she taught me quite a bit. So I wanted to say thank you, Aissata, for all you do, and thank you for my team that supported me for 4 years. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Ed. It is wonderful that he is here because he is a dear friend and a dear colleague. And so we are very grateful to have Ed Mermelstein amongst us. And he's a very, very proud son of Ukraine. And as the current Commissioner for International Affairs, I could actually go back to the day that we had to brief the mayor regarding the war that was starting. And we remember, I was coming here and I was remembering us sitting in the office and really trying to explain the complex issue that was starting and how it will impact New York City. And yesterday, I was meeting with the new ambassador of Ukraine to the UN, and I was reflecting on the fact that at that time, as I was briefing and doing the work that we do at International Affairs, I really thought that maybe it will be a conflict that will last a few months. And then a few months turned into a year. And now, almost 3.5 years later, I cannot imagine the pain that many of you Ukrainian New Yorkers and Ukrainians are going through. But I am also, like Ed, very proud that I've been able to come to the flag raisings and to see this gathering on an annual basis, because this gathering proves the strength of Ukraine, but also the strength of Ukrainian New Yorkers. And as an administration, we're always dedicated to ensuring that we celebrate the diversity of our city, but that in times of hardship, we also show up for our New Yorkers. So it is not surprising that the city of New York stood up, that we sent our knowledge, that we provided support and resources in New York. But this is not the only thing that we want to do. We want to continue to be here with you all, to support you, to stand with you, as Ed mentioned, until this unjust war is over. And the ambassador was also speaking to me about his experiences being in Kyiv and hearing the alarm every time that the bombs are dropping. And no one shall have to live under that. So to our soldiers that are here, I want to thank you because you help protect people at the cost of you. So thank you for everything that you've done. To our uniformed colleagues, NYPD and others, we thank you It is always really wonderful when we come to these events and we see the different members of our NYPD representing the community. And that is the power of the NYPD. You represent us, you understand us, so we thank you for your sacrifice as well. Ambassadors, consuls general, members of our diplomatic community, thank you for being here, for showing support to the Ukrainian consulate and the mission, and to Ukrainian New Yorkers. It's always an honor to work with you, and we thank you for always being here on an annual basis as well. And finally, to our amazing colleagues that make this event happen, the Bowling Green Association, our Community Affairs Unit, our Immigrant Affairs Unit, and the Mayor's Office for International Affairs, being led by Marcia on the flag-raising side. Thank you for providing the platform for communities to come together and for allowing us to share our voice in support of Ukraine and in support of the relationship between Ukraine and the United States, but most importantly, Ukraine and New York City. Thank you. And it is now my great honor to introduce a dear colleague, Fred Kreizman, who is the Commissioner for the Community Affairs Unit. Fred, join me.
Thank you. As a person whose family comes from Zakarpattia, it's important we have a mayor who stood firm in solidarity with Ukraine in its toughest times, who at first, when this began, ensured the New Yorkers rally together to come together and provide support in any and every way possible. Emotional support, shipments. We were here side by side with our elected officials. I want to also take time to thank the Bowling Green Association for everything they do to ensure the celebration of all the cultures in New York City. Today, not only do we stand together in solidarity with Ukraine and pay tribute to and stand here together with our ambassador, our consulate general, our heroes that fought bravely, and also to celebrate New Yorkers and the rich culture that the Ukrainians here in New York City provide in every way of life, in every economic sphere of New York City. From serving in uniform, we thank you. Many people don't realize that we have many Ukrainians, even the president of the association and many officers who are Ukrainian. We want to just thank them for their service. And they are our heroes for keeping us safe day in, day out. And we work in partnership with them. But it's also in every circle. So again, our mayor wants to convey his best wishes for a Heritage Day today. And we want to present a proclamation. We will call upon the ambassador. I want to just bring up Aissata. But everything we do is not in a singular way. It's a partnership between international affairs, the Mayor's Office, Immigrant Affairs under the leadership of Commissioner Castro, and our office to be able to listen to the concerns of New Yorkers. And I'm here today to present this proclamation on behalf of the Mayor for a Ukrainian Heritage Day in celebration. So thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. May we come together only in celebrations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. We have one more speaker today, one of the most recent arrivals to New York City. He's already been acclimatized to the subway probably better than I am, as I arrived a little late today. But it is my distinct pleasure to welcome the permanent representative of Ukraine to the United Nations, the Ambassador, Plenipotentiary, and Extraordinary, Mr. Andrii Melnyk.
Dear Commissioner Camara, Excellencies, diplomats, consul generals, dear Ukrainians, дорога українська громадо, дорогі наші герої, Сергій Марчук і Сергій Ющенко, please give a big applause to our heroes here. It's an honor to raise our flag in the very heart of New York, the only city in the world where you can have breakfast in Little Italy, lunch in Chinatown, and have a Ukrainian dinner in East Village, and all without leaving the subway. Every block feels like a different country here, which means that as Ukraine's ambassador to the United Nations, I'm still technically working at the UN even when I walk to the grocery store. Here in New York, people say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. In Ukraine, we say if you can survive your mother's-in-law cooking advice, you can survive anything. New York is the city that never sleeps. Well, Ukrainians can relate. In the dark times of war, we don't get much sleep. The only difference is that it's not because of the Broadway shows or late-night pizza. For us, it's air raid, sirens, drones, and missiles attacks and blackouts. It's because our soldiers, our volunteers, our entire nation are tirelessly working 24/7 to defend our independence. So in a way, Ukraine is like New York, full of energy and creativity, never resting, always moving forward, always fighting for its place under the sun. And we are inspired knowing that right here in this great city, our American friends are standing shoulder to shoulder with us today. We are grateful to the mayor, Eric Adams, and to his team for this gesture. When our blue and yellow flies together with the stars and the stripes, it reminds us that freedom is stronger than fear and that we are not alone. For us Ukrainians, flags are not just fabric. They are like Wi-Fi. When you see them, you know that you are automatically connected. For Mr. Mayor, who is unfortunately not here today, running New York is like being the coach of a football team where everybody wants to be quarterback. I hope that his team and Commissioner Camara will enjoy this ceremony. I hope that it would be an escape for the mayor from the jungle of local politics, at least for a few moments, as the municipal election race is heating up. We might soon need a United Nations peacekeeping force to mediate the debates. But I think that the mayor shall not worry. That is not going to happen, because finding common ground in the UN, as many colleagues sitting here now, is as hard as finding a parking slot here in Manhattan. As we celebrate Ukraine's independence, let us celebrate not just a date in history. Let us celebrate the living bond between our two nations. One day soon we will raise our flag, not only here in downtown, but proudly again in each and every corner of a free and peaceful Ukraine. When these two flags fly together above downtown, it's not just a gesture of friendship. It tells a story that unites us, the story of people who never, ever give up, who believe that liberty is worth fighting for, and who know that courage is contagious. And before I close my remarks, let me remind you of one special page of American history that has always impressed me. In late August 1777, just weeks after declaring independence, America's revolution nearly ended before it had begun. On the fields of Long Island, General Washington's army faced overwhelming British power. Defeat seemed certain, and many feared the dream of freedom was lost. Yet in the dead of night, Washington led a daring retreat across the East River. Boats slipped through the mist, oars cutting silently through the water, hearts pounding with fear and hope alike. Washington did not win the battle, but he saved the army, and with it, the source of liberty. What looked like an end became a new beginning. This story from America's founding reminds us that the struggle for independence is not measured only by immediate victories on the battlefield, but by the courage to survive, to fight another day. Washington's retreat was not surrender, it was resilience. It was the belief that freedom, once proclaimed, must be defended no matter the odds. And today Ukraine stands on her own Long Island. We face a powerful, a very dangerous enemy trying to destroy our very statehood. Yet just as American patriots 249 years ago, Ukrainians too know that survival is already a form of defiance and that perseverance is the seed of ultimate victory. The lesson of Long Island is that even when the fight and even when the night is the blackest, the cause of freedom can endure. This moment from US history inspires us all. Today, many say Ukraine cannot prevail against Russia. Yet, just as Washington defied what seemed impossible, so too do Ukrainians show that no empire is invincible. Courage, determination, and the will to be free can turn the darkest hour into the dawn of triumph. Happy Independence Day, Slava Ukraini, and God bless America and Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you for those powerful words, Ambassador. We are really proud to show to the Ambassador and all of you a poster that has been created by the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs to show the impact of the Ukrainian community in New York City. And this is their rendition of Little Ukraine in the East Village.
Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, with these wonderful flagpoles just to the side of me, let's take advantage of them. I'd ask everybody to rise now as our honor guard from the NYPD stands next to our elected officials. Polina, you want to? Yeah. And this year, with the assistance of the organization Svitanok, we have a brand new flag that is flying high overhead. We'd like to thank the Bowling Green Association. We'd like to thank the organization Svitanok for getting the funding and making sure the flag came here on time. And we are going to begin with the singing of the Ukrainian national anthem once again. Then they're doing this? Okay. Okay, oh, I'm sorry. All right, we're just getting the Ukrainian one set up. So for the music people, we're going to begin with the Star-Spangled Banner first. We're not raising the Ukrainian flag, we're just getting it set. Okay. And now we will gather around the American, the Old Glory. We're going to stand with the Stars and Stripes for our first flag raising. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand at attention with the national anthem of the United States sung by honored artist of Ukraine, Viktoria Vennikova.
Can you say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's blessed gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the
standing as we continue with the Ukrainian national anthem.
Ще не вмерли України ні слава, ні воля. Ще нам, браття українці, усміхнеться доля. Згинуть наші вороженьки, як роса на сонці. Запануєм і ми, браття, у своїй сторонці. Душу й тіло ми положим за нашу свободу і покажем, що ми браття козацького роду. Душу й тіло ми положим за нашу свободу і покажем, що ми браття козацького роду.
Слава Україні!
And I just want to add one thing. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Anastasia Yaskova, who is really our point person for the mayor's office, and working with the community day in, day out to ensure from the start of 02 till now, she's been in the forefront, working with all the social service organizations in the whole community on all the issues. So thank you, Anastasia.
And thank you all. I know many of our commissioners have a very busy day, and many of our elected officials as well. There are some opportunities. Let's make sure we get as many pictures as possible gathered with our honor guard over here. So we're going to do some pictures right now. You are all welcome to hang around, but the event is over. Please remember Ukraine in your hearts this weekend. Please join us at all of our other events, whether you're in the East Village this weekend, beginning on Friday night, there's a concert. There's a theater performance on Sunday evening. There's a march on Sunday. There are events in Riverhead. There's events in Buffalo. There are events in Rochester and Yonkers. The entire country is getting involved, not least which New York. Thank you very much, New York, for remembering about Ukraine.